Throughout my time dedicating myself to researching Vegas stuff, and being in those groups of people who reminisce about their time in Las Vegas back in the good old days, I sometimes hear the question, what was your favorite place to go to in Vegas? A lot of the common answers I see are usually a place like Wonderworld, the Stardust, Fremont Street before the Canopy, Alpine Village, and Bonnie Springs. But unfortunately, I was never around during those times back when the mob ruled Vegas and before the greedy corporations took over and ruined everything. Technically, I was living in Vegas right after the whole family-friendly era of Vegas was starting to die off and was being replaced with more adult-oriented things. So with that, I never got to experience stuff like the MGM Grand Theme Park or the Luxor and Excalibur in their prime. Of course, I am old enough to remember stuff like Bill's Gambling Hall, the Riviera, and the original Sahara. All those casinos were either demolished in the 2010s or just changed into a whole different property. I vaguely remember the Stardust and the New Frontier since they were both imploded in such an early part of my life, but still, I somewhat remember them. Overall, I had a lot of fun in Vegas growing up in the 2000s, and there are definitely stuff that they've removed over the years since, of course, Vegas is all about changing stuff. However, there is one single place in the city that's been gone for over a decade now that I want to talk about because I feel like it was heavily underrated for what it was. One place that both us 2000s kids and 90s kids could all rejoice and remember, and ladies and gentlemen, that place had a name, an acronym in one word: Frederick August Otto Schwarz, aka FAO Schwarz. Is it FAO Schwarz? Is it FAO Schwarz or Schwarz? I don't know. Oh gosh, I'm getting those flashbacks to those casino history videos. Oh no. In 1997, the Forum Shops at Caesar's Palace went through this really big expansion that added a ton of shops, restaurants, and even 2 shows. Race for Atlantis, which was a 4D ride experience, and the Fall of Atlantis, which still exists, although it's gone through a ton of changes. Amongst one of those shops was an absolutely massive 3-floor store called FAO Schwarz. Essentially, it's this toy brand that's apparently existed for like a million bajillion years and has been selling pretty much any kind of basic old-timey toy that you can think of, and eventually they started opening their own toy shops where they sold not only their own stuff, but also a bunch of other brands. Anyways, when FAO opened their store at the Forum Shops, they added one distinct structure that made it stand out from all of the other stores, and that just so happens to be the big ass 48-foot Trojan horse they had on the front entrance. Like, this thing was completely impossible to miss, and hell, this thing was the whole reason why I wanted to make this video. For like the past month, I have been absolutely obsessing over this wooden statue. Like, look at it. Look at that wooden texturing, the shiny mane with all the colorful tubes, the design of the doors. Look at its eyes. It has special eyes. My only complaint about it is, why did it look so depressed? Like, look at it. Why did it look so depressed? Anyways, it wasn't just some kind of stationary statue they had. No, the entire neck and head moved and lit up. Every so often they would have this little light show where they would play music and all these puppets would come out of the body of the horse and it'd be playing all these wacky sound effects and music. I would pay my entire life's earnings just to have the Trojan horse return. It was such an iconic part of the Forum Shops, and you could like go inside of it and like, please, I want it to return. Like, look, I made fan art of it. Just look at it. Look at it! And I recently got a piggy bank from the store before it closed that looks just like it. I am officially declaring myself the #1 FAO Schwarz Trojan horse fan, and no one else can top me. That's not the only thing they had at the entrance, no. They also had this big display of animatronic plushies dressed in robes and stuff, and they were doing all these cool ancient Roman Empire things. Just more proof that stores like these were where the real men hung around. So anyways, you'd walk under the Trojan horse into the store, and the first thing you noticed were just the absolute abundance of stuffed animals and plushies. They would have plushies of every single species of animal known to mankind. There'd be some that were bigger than your entire body. You'd look at the price tag and they'd always be like $50,000 just for one. I don't know if anyone remembers the giant stuffed dragon that they had on the front entrance. Holy crap, that was amazing. They were always so mesmerizing to see because you never really see any stuffed animal of that size so commonly. Also on the first floor was a full-on sweets shop called FAO Sweets, complete with a milkshake bar. I sure do love drinking copious amounts of liquid chocolate with a high amount of carbs while browsing expensive toys. And look, they have a Humpty Dump. Oh god! Oh, Don't worry guys, he's fine. Now let's get on to the second floor. Now let me tell you something about the second floor. They had quite possibly one of the most iconic physical playthings, I don't know what to call them, of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you the piano dance pad. The FAO Schwarz in New York also had one of these and was made famous because of that one movie, but the one in Vegas was totally better, and I have proof. Today I will be playing Nocturne in C# minor. I hope everyone enjoys. Bam! You're suddenly in Jurassic Park. Oh, it's the Lost World. Still better than Dominion. Oh yeah, did I mention you could actually go inside the Trojan horse? I couldn't find any pictures of the Trojan horse's interior, though I did read some Reddit posts, and apparently there was a periscope that faced towards the other stores that you could like control, and yeah, that's it. Bam! Barbie toys. Going up to the third floor. Bam! Star Wars Cantina. Look out, Galaxy's Edge. FAO Schwarz got you beat. You had all sorts of wacky Star Wars merchandise, video games as far as the eye can see. Today on the video game menu, the Sega Dreamcast, the Nintendo GameCube, the Game Boy Advance, Microsoft Xbox, and the Sony PlayStation 2. Which one was your favorite? And that was the FAO Schwarz experience in Las Vegas. It lasted for a good 12 years until the company was apparently in like a really big financial crisis. You know, they were like losing a lot of stuff. The recession happened. I don't know if anyone remembers that, but a lot of stores were losing money, and FAO was one of them. Whoopsie. In January of 2010, the toy store would permanently close its doors forever, an absolutely tragic loss in Las Vegas history. For a bit, the store was dormant and dark. The whole place was an empty shell of its former self. Many people questioned and speculated what new and exciting store would replace what was once a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. What was once a testament to the wonders of childhood, but then it was revealed that something else would occupy this iconic space, something that was far more well known than FAO Schwarz, one that some people were eager to see in the future, and that just so happened to be a fucking H&M. Yeah, H&M opened in December of 2010, the same year FAO closed their doors, and the first thing people noticed was that the entire Trojan horse that stood out in the entrance was just gone, demolished, betrayed. No more piano, no more plushies. Actually, the H&M does have a few plushies. That's cool, I guess. No more giant chocolate shakes, no more overpriced toys. Now, you could only buy overpriced clothes. Instead of keeping with the Forum Shop's ancient Roman theming, they went for this like weird disco atmosphere. Occasionally, there's a DJ that plays music and stuff, and this weird hangout spot with a pool table and a horse lamp. But aside from that, that's pretty much it. I don't think it's that bad, honestly. I think it's an alright store, but all these years later, I still prefer the FAO Schwarz store. This part of the video goes out to all the other tenants in the Forum Shops that were replaced with something else. Shout out to my boys Race for Atlantis, Planet Hollywood, the Discovery Store, the Warner Brothers Studio Store, the Disney Store, Sony Style, the Endangered Species Store, freaking Nanette Lepore, whatever that was. And as a lesson for all young folks watching this video, appreciate what you have now, because I guess it's gonna go away soon or something. Yeah. They should totally bring back the Trojan horse. Please!